What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TMS Catalyst, your ultimate destination for everything tech, AI, and hyper-driven agility. I'm TMAS, and if you are ready to spark massive change, level up your workflow, and dominate the digital future, you are in the exact right place.
Today, we are diving deep into the book review on the coaching habit. So hit that subscribe button, buckle up, and let's get straight into it.
All right, let's get right into this explainer. We're cracking open Michael Bungay Stanier's absolute game changer, the coaching habit. Listen, this isn't some fluffy theory. It's a hardcore tactical breakdown on how saying less and asking way more can completely revolutionize your leadership game. We're all operating in high-pressure workflows, where the default is just telling people what to do, right? But this book proves that coaching isn't some tedious, hour-long HR exercise. It's a high-impact, daily, informal habit that takes literally 10 minutes or less. And the whole thing starts with rewiring your own brain.
So let's tackle the first big hurdle, taming your advice monster.
Before we even touch the toolkit, we have to violently confront the biggest bottleneck in your daily operations. And yeah, it's you. Specifically, your advice monster. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that loud voice in your head that instantly wants to jump in, grab the wheel, and just fix the problem the second someone brings it up. It's natural. We think we're adding value by doing the telling and fixing. But the data shows this behavior creates a brutal cycle. It builds total team overdependence, it creates massive overwhelm for you, and it leaves your team disconnected from the work that actually matters. So we've got to shift. We have to move from being the frantic advice giver to the curious coach who actually empowers people.
All right, moving right into the setup phase, covering chapters 1 and 2.
Let's rapid fire through this toolkit. Question number 1 is the kickstart question. What's on your mind? It is absolutely beautiful in its simplicity. This question bypasses all that useless small talk and immediately zeroes in on what is most exciting or maybe the most anxiety-provoking thing for your team member. It cuts through the rigid, ossified agendas and signals to them, hey, let's talk about the thing that actually matters right now. It's completely open yet intensely focused.
And you're going to follow that up immediately with the AWE question. AWE. And what else? Stanier actually calls this the single best coaching question in the world. Why? Because the first answer someone gives you is literally never the only answer. And frankly, it is rarely the best answer. When you ask, and what else? You are forcing their brain to dig deeper, push past the obvious, and generate much better options.
Crucially, you got to realize what this question does for you. Psychologically, asking, and what else, acts as a massive self-management tool. It restrains that advice monster we talked about while buying you the precious time you need to actually just listen. You don't have to have the magic solution loaded in the chamber, you just have to stay curious for a little bit longer.
Now we escalate into the core of the framework from chapters 3 and 4. Question 3 is your focus question. What's the real challenge here for you? Think about it. We waste so much energy trying to solve the wrong problems because we get seduced into thinking that the very first challenge they mention is the actual challenge. This question forcefully pivots the conversation away from noisy symptoms and locks right onto the root cause. And notice that for you, tacked onto the end, that makes it deeply personal and actionable. This is the exact moment you transition from just putting out the daily fires to actually developing the person holding the hose.
Which leads directly into the foundation question, what do you want? Man, this cuts straight to the chase. The book pulls from some fascinating neuroscience here. It points out that 5 times a second, on an entirely unconscious level, our brains are scanning the room asking, is it safe here or is it dangerous? It's our primal risk and reward response. Asking someone, what do you want, yanks them out of the defensive weeds and directly addresses that fundamental response, handing them clarity and total ownership of the outcome.
Next up is the strategy phase from chapters 5 and 6, where we establish hard boundaries.
Okay, so we have the core issue, we know what they want, now it's time for execution. Enter the lazy question. How can I help? Or, if you prefer, what do you want from me? Picture this. A team member comes running to you, totally panicking over a massive, messy project timeline. Instead of leaping in to play the hero and completely redesigning it yourself, this question becomes your ultimate shield. It forces your colleague to formulate a clear, direct request. You are still the good guy, you're totally willing to help, but you aren't overstepping, and you absolutely aren't taking the monkey off their back just to put it onto yours.
Strategy is fundamentally about making courageous choices, which brings us to the strategic question. If you're saying yes to this, what are you saying no to? In our world of infinite tasks and completely finite time, this question ensures that every single commitment is grounded in reality.
It ruthlessly exposes the opportunity cost of their choices. You simply cannot say yes to a new priority without letting something else go. This question makes that hard truth crystal clear to everyone.
Finally, we hit the bookend in Chapter 7. It's time to finish strong.
Now we land the plane and lock in the value of the entire interaction. Question 7 is the learning question. What was most useful for you? This is what cements the breakthrough. The science backs this up. Real learning doesn't happen when you just tell someone a fact. It happens when they pause, reflect, and articulate it themselves. By asking this, you extract the actual value, you share the wisdom, and you remind them of just how useful this quick interaction with you really was.
And the most incredible part of this entire 7-question toolkit is right here on the screen, 10. You can deploy this entire framework to coach literally anyone, a direct report, your boss, a high-stakes client, in 10 minutes or less. It completely shatters that tired excuse of, I just don't have time to coach. This system is custom-built for hyper-driven agility.
Let's wrap this up with our final agility takeaways.
So how do we actually make this stick? Because just knowing the questions isn't enough. You have to build the neurological habit. The author uses proven habit-building mechanics here. To install this new operating system, you first have to pinpoint the exact moment your advice monster gets triggered. Maybe it's when a specific team member pings you, or when someone sighs and says, I don't know what to do. That is your trigger. Your new action? Instead of instantly giving the answer, you ask just one of the 7 questions. And the reward? You get an empowered, self-sufficient team and a massive, massive reduction in your own workload. Building this resilient system takes reps, so start small. Pick just one question, maybe the AWE question, and practice it in chunks. Look, you are gonna slip up. You will feel what the book calls conscious incompetence, that super awkward feeling of trying a brand new skill. Embrace the awkwardness. Make a plan for how you'll get back on track when your advice monster inevitably breaks loose. But above all, fiercely commit to staying curious just a little bit longer before you offer up your opinion.
Which leaves us with this final, critical thought I want you to ponder. What is your advice monster actually costing you? Is it costing you your precious time, your team's growth, your ability to focus on the deep work that actually moves the needle? If you want to scale your impact and totally dominate your field, you have to break the addiction to giving advice. So grab these 7 questions, stay fiercely curious, and now get out there and spark massive change. Catch you on the next Explainer.
What's up?